Hello, gamers, and welcome to the new and improved Critics Play Games podcast. This is a video game news podcast here on the Critics Play Games YouTube channel. It is a monthly recap show, if you will, talking about the biggest news topics in the world of Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation. I'm one of your hosts, Christian, and this week I'm joined by two of my co-hosts from Critics Play Games as well. We have Patrick Burrow and Zach Pope here with us today. Unfortunately, Leo was not able to join us today. He's getting ready for some San Diego Comic-Con, y'all, which is crazy to think about. I'm super jealous, by the way. I've always wanted to go.
Did you apply?
No.
You should. It is, and I won't point this out. They approve a lot. Like, honestly, like, dude, you should apply next year. Like, I can't recommend enough. I went in 2019. I'm going again this year. And out of any convention I've gone to, it's the best one. Like, it's better than Star Wars Celebration by fucking a ton of time. Like, I cannot express that enough, but it's just a giant party. And there's so much to do. Even if you don't have a pass, they have all these activations outside of the convention that there's a ton to do. So I really thoroughly enjoy San Diego Comic-Con, and I get to meet Leo for the first time in person.
Nice.
Next week. I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's gonna be nice to finally do that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm just stuck in another country. I can't go to that stuff for you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, Patrick's from Australia. Yeah,
you should create your own, Patrick. The Australian version.
I'll create my own Comic-Con and I'll call it AussieCon. All right.
See,
there you go.
And all the Australians will go there.
Yeah,
no, they won't.
No,
you never know.
You know how hard it is to meet people as nerdy as us in Australia? It's like a 5% in 100 chance.
I know. Do you know what's funny though? There's like 5 YouTubers I watch that are all Australian. So, and they're all nerdy. So there you go. But you guys all live in different areas. You guys all live in different areas though. So like different areas. So
you have to befriend a lot of peers and then move to the States.
Yeah, see?
No one would live where I live. I live in a town that has a nickname Bogan Town. So look into that what you will. It's filled with crackheads and everything.
Nice. Well, there you go. Sounds like
for the win, man.
We actually play on the way to work. We actually play a video game of Spot the Bogan, and we'll wind down the window and yell, "Crackhead!"
Nice.
And that sounds like America, honestly. I mean,
it really is. It really is. Now I'm just thinking back to that Donald Glover song, "This Is America."
Yeah,
because it really. Yeah, America's not as great either. So, but we're not talking about America. We're talking about games.
No, we're talking. Yes, exactly.
It universally brings everyone in the world together.
Right. I mean, yeah. It's again, it's crazy. You know, we've been kind of talking about like bringing that podcast, and you know, we're on like this new schedule, which I really, really love. And you know, it's very. You know, we're back pretty much. You know, because it's been a lot of trial and error on our side, but you know, this is. Probably the best and easiest way that we can bring this content for you guys. Of course, this podcast episode will be available on our YouTube channel, Critics Play Games, and on podcast services around the internet, titled Critics Play Games as well. Super easy for you guys to find us on there as well. So, guys, let's just kind of get into our first topic here, which is what games we've been playing. You know, what we've been you know, trying out some new things, playing some oldies but goodies. So I guess we'll start with Patrick, then we'll go to Zach, and then I'll end it off. So Patrick, what have you been playing currently?
Well, recently I've been playing a multitude of games. As a trophy hunter, I try to work on multiple at once, but the two in particular right now are 2 horror titles, one of them being Resident Evil 0, which I started replaying in preparation for the Netflix Resident Evil series, which that rant is for a whole different day. I don't even want to remember that show. No, just hearing Wesker say, "I want Pornhub to shred your resume" is just something I never thought I'd hear in my life, and I never want to hear it again. But Resident Evil 0, I decided to play because I want to platinum all of the Resident Evil titles that are available on PS4 and PS5 before Resident Evil 4 Remake comes out next year. And with that, RE0 has always been regarded as a black sheep entry in the series, as it's a prequel to the original game, following Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen as they start off on the train. Billy Cohen is like a convict of some sort, and Rebecca is a member of Bravo team, who, if you've played any of the Resi games, you know that Bravo team is the team that goes missing, and Alpha team goes to investigate at the Arkley Mansion in Resident Evil 1. Now, this game is a black sheep entry in the series because really it doesn't feel like there's any consequences because Billy Cohen never turned up in Resident Evil HD, so you really didn't care what happened to him. And Rebecca Chambers did turn up in Resident Evil HD, which was, well, the original Resident Evil in Chris's campaign, meaning you know that she's not going to die because this is a prequel before she enters the Arkley Mansion with the events of the original Resident Evil. But replaying it, and a good buddy of mine, Austin Putnam, would agree with me on this. I actually think it's a very underrated game for the reason that it is very much so a beat-for-beat recreation in certain ways, especially locations, like the main hall of the first area when you enter the sort of umbrella training facility in the game after the train section. It looks very much so like the mansion of the original game. But it very much so is unique in its own way. From enemies, I think the leech monsters are terrifying, as well as once you complete the game for the first time, you unlock a mode called Leech Hunter, where you have to defeat waves upon waves of enemies throughout the different locations from the campaign, while also collecting a certain amount of leeches, which is also a part of the trophy hunting experience, completing Leech Hunter in its entirety in more ways than one. But it's also the fact that this is one of the most unique RE games because rather than only controlling one character, you control two. With the right thumbstick, you can control your partner, or you can switch between the two different characters at will to do certain tasks or do them together by yourself and whatnot, which can lead to certain things in regards to wasting ammunition if you don't have your, partner character, whether it's Billy or Rebecca at the time, on idle. With this, there's also no item boxes, meaning there's a lot more backtracking because you are actually leaving items on the ground to free up inventory space. And it makes item management and inventory management a little bit more difficult, adding towards the survival horror experience. And I was actually texting Zach about this the other day. It's proven to be a much more difficult platinum than my Resident Evil HD platinum was. But I don't necessarily hate that. There is a certain boss in the game, the bat or whatever it was. It's like a gigantic bat in the church, which was a pain in my ass because of certain trophy requirements during that boss battle. But overall, it is challenging to do the inventory management, completing it without either using a first aid spray or doing it without using any healing items whatsoever, completing it in a certain due period of time, completing it on hard mode, completing it without saving, which means without dying. It's an added challenge that I really appreciate, and it does add these extra layers to a game that is widely unrecognized within the RE series, and that might come from the fact that in 2002, we not only had the remake of Resident Evil that was released on the GameCube, but Resident Evil 0 was released to that very same console not too long after, less than a year later, so it kind of went under people's radars. The other game I've been playing, which I won't talk about too much because I want to talk about on a Critics Play Games with its own separate video, is a little indie psychological horror game called Madison. This game I've been following for years. Took 5 years to make between a team of only 2 people, which I think is a huge achievement. This game is actually incredible, and I won't state why, but the best way I can describe this game is it's the perfect blend of Silent Hill puzzle solving that are methodical and outside-the-box thinking, while also trying your best not to evacuate your bowels. This game is terrifying. You're armed with nothing but a sort of possessed, almost Polaroid camera, while playing as your main character, Luca, as you're exploring your family residence and everything, trying to uncover the mysteries, while also being sort of stalked or hunted in a way by a demon of sorts. And there are sequences where you have to use the Polaroid camera to uncover clues in regards to solving certain puzzles or be transported to different timelines or dimensional gaps. Using this as well, you sometimes don't even know if you're in a dark abyss, and your flash of the camera, the Polaroid camera, will unveil a demon hiding in the dark. And it makes the atmosphere and the tension in every location of this game very, very scary, because it also plays out. And if you love PT, you would love this game because it is very much so inspired by PT, with the locations, how it plays out, the recurring events, the puzzle solving. It is very much so inspired. And as an indie psychological horror game, playing through this the first time was terrifying. Playing through it a second time, trying to trophy hunt simultaneously, is a nightmare. And I hate myself for putting myself through this, but once I start, I don't want to stop. So I'm my own worst enemy with that.
I feel it, man. Wow. I see. I'm not a big horror game person, but like, I mean, I did play Outlast, but that was with me and a few friends. But I think Alan Wake is kind of like where I draw the line. But Zach, what have you been playing lately?
Nothing that deep. Jesus Christ, Patrick. But I've been playing Destiny 2, the Witch Queen. I did that video a month ago where I like dove back into like, where's Destiny now? Is this actually a fun, decent game? Because one of my friends who has played it since day one and not stopped playing it kind of sold me back on the idea. And overall, it's really enjoyable. Like I enjoy it. I'm getting to the point where I have nothing to do now though. So I'm going to start moving back over and I'm going to replay God of War. I want to do a video about that God of War 4 technically in 2022 and discuss it before the sequel comes out. And I'm really excited to do so. So that's something that I'm going to be planning on doing, specifically because I've only gone through that game once. And I didn't really explore anything. I said, I just want to go fucking through this story. I was so engaged, but there's so much to do in that game. You can get the Infinity Gauntlet if you get like 100% of the game finished. So I definitely want to do that. And that's kind of like the next thing. Because really, there's nothing for me that's coming out soon besides Evil West, which looks pretty entertaining in September. It looks like Devil May Cry meets Gears of War, which I am going to pick that up if it gets good reviews. If it doesn't,
that sounds cool.
I'm not touching it. But overall, yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing, is just a little bit of that. And I haven't played too many games just because there's not a lot coming out right now. I bought the Mario Strikers game and just never touched it. Like I put it in my Switch. I was all ready to play it. And then I never did. So yeah, I don't know. I need to jump back onto that. But what about you, Christian?
For me, I'm starting a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for the first time because it's been on my backlog forever. And, I was kind of just in a place where, I'm obviously, we all watch TVs and movies like out the wazoo. So it's like, trying to balance that with like, I'm trying to play a game like in the, in my spare time for when I have it. So I'm playing through that. I barely just started it, but I am liking it so far. It is that single player game that, EA claims that everyone thinks is dead, the single player genre. But, PlayStation kind of says different when it comes to that. And honestly, Nintendo for the most part, because, everyone's excited for Breath of the Wild too. As well. But as I'm playing on my PC. I'm having a great time.
I love Fallen Order. Such a good game.
Yeah, I've heard there's no fast travel, which is the only thing I'm like, kind of iffy about.
Yeah, terrible, but
it also rewards you for exploration if you with that as well. Like you explore areas you don't necessarily.
Well, and that's the thing. Like if you keep exploring, like you can get upgrades like a lot earlier. I don't want to spoil some of the upgrades that you're gonna get, but you can get them like literally flat out within like the first 2 missions. Well, some of the strongest stuff. Yeah.
You can almost max out like your entire skill tree about 3/4 into the game. If you play it right, because I remember when it came out, I played the shit out of Jedi Fallen Order. I think after it came out, it was literally the day I graduated high school that game came out. So it was like a special day for me. I grabbed it, went home, got my disc, put it into the console, and I just started playing it. And I did not put it down, I think, for a solid like 3 to 4 weeks of just constantly playing it over and over and over and over again, because it was that good.
Wow.
And I eventually got
my I was gonna say this was the first Star Wars game I didn't buy first day because I was like just so over them.
I mean, Battlefront kind of,
which is actually really good now. Like I would argue that's the best Battlefront game. If
it is until you try to platinum it. Don't do that. I don't recommend it.
Never again.
I did it. I hated every second of it. Multiplayer trophies suck.
And that's why I've never platinumed the Last of Us Remastered or the original.
It's funny, the Last of Us Remaster, I have every multiplayer trophy. I do not have every collectible trophy.
It would be a breeze for you.
Oh yeah, I just have to replay it. I was gonna do it this year, and then they announced the remake, and I'm like,
I will buy your account. I will buy your account because I refuse to do multiplayer trophies, and I want that platinum.
Guys, do you know how addicted I was to that multiplayer? I have like 400 hours in that multiplayer.
It's a really good multiplayer.
I fucking love that multiplayer.
I never touched
that's some of my favorites.
I never touched it.
You can't play it now. It's almost because now it's hackers and cheaters and just really try hard people. You can't play it anymore. It's not fun anymore.
I mean, if only we were getting it with the remake, but you know,
but they are making that big single or that big. Well, I'm excited to see what that is. I have a feeling though. I'm going to tell you right now, it's free to play. That game is going to be free to play.
It better be, because if that thing comes out to $30, I'm like, listen.
That's if it ever comes out. That's if it ever comes out. Because
it'll come out. I bet it would come out next year.
I'm going to say something. Capcom said the same thing about REverse, and that was meant to come out in May last year.
Yeah, but this is
still not out. No,
this is
not.
Different.
No, it's
yes,
not.
It is. It's absolutely different. This is Naughty Dog. This is a full AAA title. That Reverse thing is a piece of shit. The beta was absolute garbage. At least The Last of Us had a really good multiplayer in the first game where they could actually build off that. So this is a completely different thing.
Here's an extra $30 onto your pre-order for REverse alongside it. Just never comes out.
Capcom does that a lot. Capcom does that a lot. Name a game that Sony or Naughty Dog have never released that was actually fully in development and announced. There's only one that I can think of. There's only one.
Naughty Dog.
And I don't even know if you guys remember it.
I remember that they tried to make Jak 4. But then they pivoted to Uncharted.
Yeah.
Beta Plus? Savage Starlight?
No idea what those are. But they're not. Are they, like, who made?
I don't know
what companies made those. Because the only one that I can think of is the Agent. But was it actually fully announced as a game, though? That's what I mean. Like, was it fully announced and shown as a gameplay at an E3 or an event? That's what I mean. Is that like it was actually shown and done?
It was anticipated and was flat out announced and had a concept art released and everything.
When was it announced? I'm just curious.
This was back PS3 days.
Ooh.
That was a weird era, though. They haven't done that lately. And
that was a weird era.
Patrick, I will bet you that it comes out. I will bet you it comes out.
I will bet you that if it comes out, I will do a Critics Play Games podcast wearing an anime waifu maid outfit.
I don't want to see that. So.
Hey, there's going to be something tangible.
How about this? You do reactions on your YouTube channel. So let me say this. If it comes out, you have to react to whatever I tell you to react to. Just one movie.
Done deal. Okay. As long as it's not Human Centipede 2.
It won't be.
Again. But yeah, as for my second game, I've finally, this is way back when I had my Switch, when I had a Switch. Octopath Traveler came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks gorgeous. And I remember when it first came out, I think you could play, it was like maybe an hour or two demo on the Switch, and I was in love with it. There's like, 8 different characters. They kind of have their own backstories, and then their destinies kind of like intertwined. I'm not like super far into it. But I'm loving it so far. Like, I mean, it is like that 8-bit JRPG, but like I'm not a big JRPG fan. Like, it has to be either Pokemon, Persona 5, Final Fantasy, specific Final Fantasy games, or Octopath Path is pretty it's starting to get up there. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's on Game Pass for anyone who wants to check it out for Xbox and for PC, which is really, really great, which kind of enticed me to start playing it because but yeah, it's been a great time so far. Like we don't get a lot of turn-based JRPGs nowadays. I mean, if we do, I feel like it is far few in between. But this one, I mean, the lowest I've seen it on sale. It's on sale right now through the Xbox store. I don't think it's on PlayStation yet, but it's also on Epic.
Is it even coming to PlayStation?
I don't. It's Square Enix.
Because how long? Yeah,
they don't make any sense.
No.
Square Enix announced Final Fantasy VII Remake for PC and completely ignored Xbox.
And then they announced Crisis Core, the prequel to everything.
That's coming. It's like, hey, you can play the prequel, but you can't play the remake.
Dude, I want to give them full credit where credit is due. I usually absolutely hate Square Enix. When I played that Final Fantasy VII,
it was great.
Remake
the
or whatever,
remake,
it was great.
Yes.
But the second it ended, I'm like, when's the next part? Oh, probably gonna be like 10 years because that's how I'm used to it with Kingdom Hearts.
They did say originally they didn't have a plan going.
I've never played Final Fantasy,
but now
they have announced.
Yeah,
we're getting the next one next year, and that fucking great. I love that. And again, they even announced Kingdom Hearts this year, Kingdom Hearts 4, which was
yeah. I mean,
huge because I didn't
Final Fantasy 16 last year.
Which that looks great. Like I got to give them credit as dude. They're doing a little bit better than they
are doing a lot better.
Like but they still don't make sense on their releases.
No, Square Enix never has. It's so odd because now it's like they've put it to where we have Final Fantasy 7 Remake. It's going to be on PlayStation for I don't know a year or two. Then we'll put it on PC.
I would not be shocked if in the next 10 years Square Enix is bought by Sony.
Probably.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I
just think eventually all these companies are just going to eventually be swept under by a big publisher.
It's going to be streaming wars all over again.
Yeah, like I know Bungie's just went through. It got the approval finally. So Bungie's
but they are still third party. They are still releasing games.
They are.
Much like
anything going forward, Sony gets. That's a big
That is
thing.
True. It's kind of like the Xbox situation with like Blizzard. I think that's supposed to go through. I
think next week it's supposed to get the approval if it gets
supposedly
approved.
I don't know. Everyone's making such a big deal of it. I'm like,
it'll get approved. It would have been denied by now. Yeah. What do you guys think about that real fast?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I think Blizzard just needs a cleanse and a fresh new start. And I think, publishing or, partnering with Xbox, becoming part of that Microsoft family or the Xbox family, I think it makes perfect sense. Xbox, I'm sure they're going to have like their exclusive stuff, but they do recognize that there is, Overwatch for like, especially like Overwatch and other.
And the fact Blizzard, that Overwatch 2 is free to play. That's huge.
That too. So it's like I don't think they're just going to ignore it, but I mean they're still going to be cashing in. So I think it's good.
Do you think like Call of Duty ever goes exclusive then?
I don't know. I think there might be like exclusive, like maybe content. Yeah, but I don't know. Call of Duty together.
Call of Duty itself will never go exclusive, considering it's been a widely published, game franchise across like PC to console.
I mean, it's
forever,
true. It's just,
and they'd lose a large margin of their sales and units if they made it an exclusivity. Which would be.
Then might be able to play it on Game Pass, obviously. If it comes
I just look at like Bethesda though. That's the only thing is that like they made Starfield an exclusive. They're probably gonna make Elder Scrolls a fucking exclusive.
Yeah. See, I feel Starfield's a little bit different than Elder Scrolls because Elder Scrolls again has that backing of but it's like Bethesda and Microsoft have been working together closely for so long. Yeah. Like it just made it was inevitable. Like just like Square Enix and PlayStation, I'm sure it'll happen at some time, or even Insomniac Games. It's inevitable.
I just looked up a Square Enix games like releasing, and I've just noticed I've never played a Square Enix developed game. I've only ever played Life is Strange, which is published by Square Enix.
They make a lot of good games, and they make a lot of shit too. So
Avengers.
I've never played a Final Fantasy.
I didn't mind Avengers. They could have made that better, but
they could have made
it fine.
Oh, I forgot they did Avengers. No, I have played.
Well, they published.
Well, wait.
Crystal Dynamics developed it.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you played Tomb Raider, like the newer?
Tomb Raider's good. That is
Tomb Raider.
The new ones.
The whole trilogy was incredible. Specifically that first one. And those are awesome.
My ex-girlfriend bought me the most recent one, and then we broke up literally like a week later.
He said, I've got what I want.
There are so many reasons to why I broke up with her. Crap.
You still have the game, right?
I still have the game. She literally tried to have me give it back to her, and I'm like, no, you gave it to me as a birthday gift. No. Fuck you.
See, and that's why I proposed, because the person I proposed understands that I play video games. Like I straight up told her, I was like, just so you know, like I will never stop. Like this is my life. Like this is what I do. Like you watch Grey's Anatomy and shit. This is what I do.
As long as she gets the thrash you in Mortal Kombat, she's fine with it.
Yeah, she's actually really good at Mortal Kombat, and we play It Takes Two here and there, but we haven't beaten it yet.
I need to 1v1 her in Mortal Kombat someday as Cabal.
I honestly, I don't know how good you are, Patrick, but like, she's
Cabal's
like,
name, man.
Who's?
Cabal.
Who's her?
The guy that they ripped off the finisher of for in the season 3 with A-Train.
Cabal. So if I play as Cabal, she gets pissed because I can like That's a character.
He's super easy to combo. Yeah. He's super easy to combo with, and he's such a cheese character.
I know. Do you play Mortal Kombat, Christian?
No, the only fighting game that I don't play side-scroller fighting games unless it's Super Smash Brothers. I'm terrible.
You're not gonna try
I started playing Rivals of Ether, which is kind of based off of I think it was Melee is what they kind of based the mechanics off of. But yeah, that's like the only side-scroller.
Wait, you're not gonna get Tekken 2 on PlayStation for $10,000?
No.
I hate Tekken. That's the only franchise I can't get into.
I like the later Tekkens. I don't like the earlier ones.
When I was younger, I was just button mashing. I didn't know really what I was doing, but I was
exactly.
I never really cared. I mean, I respect the fighting franchises out there, but it's like I'd never gotten to like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
I used to take my home laptop into school because I was so bored during like history or math. I'd load up my home computer and I'd bring a gamepad with me and I'd play Mortal Kombat X in class.
We used to do it with
Halo. Crap. Oh, we did it with Halo too. All of us would be playing
the original
Halo. Yeah, the original. We'd be playing that, and the teacher would get pissed off because we weren't paying attention in English. Then we'd all pass.
They get very pissed. They get very pissed. So
that's funny. Yeah, but. We're going to get into our news segment, the meat and potatoes of everything that's going on. This is a very heavy PlayStation focused episode that we have today. Starting off, God of War Ragnarok finally has a release date of November 9th coming out this year, 2022. And pre-orders are now live. They started on July 5th. So I wanted to ask you guys really quick, how excited are you about this game? And have you pre-ordered your copy? And do you think that, and I've noticed this with Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, I feel like Forbidden West kind of had like a bad timing with Elden Ring coming out, but we never really knew how great that game was going to be. Do you think God of War Ragnarok's going to be like God of War 2018, or more of the same, or, something new and old at the same time? But I guess we'll start with Zach and then we'll go to Patrick.
So I've been playing God of War since the PlayStation 2 days. I love this franchise. So, but God of War 4 was a big change because they absolutely changed everything, like gameplay wise, the story, Kratos. Everyone was kind of like, is this a remake? Is it like a reboot? Like, what is this? And in a sense, it was a brand new God of War game. It's technically God of War 4. Like, that's what we can call it. It is the sequel to that trilogy. And, I loved 2018 with my entire heart. It was my favorite game of that year. The fact that it won, I think it won Game of the Year, right? Over Red Dead.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Which was a big surprise because I remember Red Dead's winning every single thing. And then God of War still won Best Game of the Year, which was, again, a big surprise. So,
I love the Oscars. No.
Yeah. And
it was great all over again.
Exactly. But I was so excited for this. I didn't believe for a while that this was coming out this year. Like, I was still, it's probably going to get pushed, and that's fine with me. Just make a great game. It's getting announced for this year. It seems like they're putting like all their assets to just finish this thing, get it out there. And I'm very excited for this game. I went ahead and bought the special edition after I saw it was selling out everywhere. Decided to drive down to my GameStop at 9:57, pull up, and it was funny because it's Arizona, so it's really hot right now. So everyone's waiting in their car instead of outside. So the second I pull up, I just ran up to the door. I was first one in line. Like, don't know why you guys are waiting. Like, you see, there's 10 other cars. So got my hammer pre-ordered. I don't know if I'm going to keep the edition, to be honest. I want to see how it is in person. If I really like it, I'll keep it.
You just want the hammer.
Kind of. I would rather actually own the MCU's Thor hammer.
Yeah, you should have bought the one from AMC.
Hell no. For $40? Fuck no, man. I'd rather just go buy the actual, like, one for like $120.
That is
like,
true.
For a little bit more. That popcorn, but I went in person, saw it, I'm like, nah. Not worth it. But
the prices you guys have on these things just makes me so jealous considering the conversion rates to Australia. I hear these prices like $100, $120, and I'm like, bruh, $300 for us. Stop complaining.
Yeah. But it's a lot out here. I mean, that's a lot for us. You still got to remember.
Oh,
that.
I know. Like, I know. I'm just looking at like a differential
for how cheap. Yeah, for how cheap certain things are. But so I got it pre-ordered. Is it going to be more of the same? I haven't watched much gameplay. I've seen a little bit, and it does look pretty comparison to the last God of War, which I would imagine. I mean, the first 3 God of War games are literally the same exact game with just bigger boss battles, bigger story, bigger effects. This is the conclusion to this Norse mythology. They said, this is it. We're not doing a third game. We pretty much combined our thoughts of 2 and 3 and put them in together to make it one bigger game. So I actually like that. I like that this isn't just a trilogy again. They instead of milking it and going, okay, we'll do 2, and then maybe 2 has kind of like a lackluster story because it's the build up to 3. They're just giving us 2 and 3 put together. And I like that. And the biggest question, which I'm going to put up a video on this either this week or next week, will Kratos wield Mjolnir? Abso-fucking-lutely, he is going to grab that hammer and smash in Thor's face. There is not a single way, and I'm not going to get into details of how I think he will, because the Norse mythology of actually holding that hammer is completely different to the MCU, so it's not about worthiness, but I'm very excited for this game. This is my most anticipated game for the entire year. I would be shocked if it is not my favorite game of the year. Like, it would have to be immensely bad. And I loved Elden Ring. Elden Ring is still my favorite game so far this year. But if something is going to win Game of the Year, it will be God of War Ragnarok. If it's that good. If it's
it will just make the margin as well for Game of the Year nominations this year as well, whereas other games like Callisto Protocol will miss out, even though that I think
Jeff Keighley needs to fix that and move that
I agree.
awards thing to like early January, February, because there's been Jedi Fallen Order fell to it, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate fell to it as well, where it came out. I think Ultimate came out the day or the night of the Game Awards that year.
Yep, it did.
But yeah, Patrick, I wanted to get your thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. Have you pre-ordered it? You know, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to be, you know, something new and something old, or more of the same?
Okay, here's the thing. I've spoken to you guys about this before. I've never played God of War 2018, but I am a God of War fan. I, like Zach, have been playing God of War since the PS2 days, and I love this franchise. God of War 1, 2, and 3 are fantastic, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like, I think it was 3, some people don't like, or it was 2. I personally like all 3 of them just as equally. And I actually have re-downloaded God of War 3 onto my PlayStation 5, actually, because that's now available, and I will be replaying that before I jump into 2018, which I plan on playing very, very soon, finally. I never played it, though, because when it came out in the April of 2018, I think it was, that game came out at such a time that was very crucial for me, because I was in my 11th year of high school, and like studies in 2018 and 2019 were at the utmost high. Like, I barely had any time to play any video games until I graduated in 2019. So I just never found the time. I never bought the game, never found the time, never did anything. But I do plan on, because I do actually have a copy of it, and I do plan on playing it very, very soon. And then, depending on when I play God of War, I will pre-order Ragnarok, because even though I've never played God of War 2018, I am still very excited for Ragnarok, because I do love God of War.
Yeah. For me, I have yet to pre-order my copy just yet. I'm waiting for a few things, kind of waiting out just for now, because it's like, I mean, it comes out in November. I'm just getting the standard launch edition. I'm not really like rushing to do my pre-order as of like right now, because obviously, you know, if you want to get the collector's edition, that is something you need to act on, like, you know, day one, like right away. For some reason, like, I mean, I'm happy that it's finally coming out, and I know that the developers have been getting a lot of flack. I mean, I understand people's frustration, because, you know, time and time again, you know, these developers, these studios, more specifically, announce these titles with like a title card, much like we've seen with like Elder Scrolls 6, and it hasn't been talked about or brought up for like the next 2 to 3 years, and there's nothing to show. And I mean, it's great, you know, you want to get people hyped up, but I'm just more in the camp of, you know, I will never like harass like a developer or anything. You know, these are people, you know, tirelessly working under these like crazy conditions, especially with COVID going on. I do understand people's frustration, though, when it comes to the people who are, it's just, I don't like it when studios announce things like 2 to 3 years in advance, and there's no gameplay, there's no release date in mind. So it's like, well, why did you even announce it? Because that's just me. When it comes to a lot of things, I understand, you know, you have to get people excited to buy like a PlayStation 5, but it's just, I'm very excited for the game, but I do wish that studios would stop announcing something and then we don't hear anything about it from like 2 to 3 years, much like God of War 2018 and even Marvel's Spider-Man. They kept bringing it back. Sony kept bringing it back between every single E3. Like, oh, here's a little bit more gameplay. Oh, when's the release date? Oh, well, we don't know yet. And it's like, well, why do you keep showing me this? And then like, there's no concrete anything. I understand, game development, it requires a lot of moving pieces, and I can't fault them for that. But with that said, I am very excited for this game. I do think people online have been just completely out of the line, harassing developers, stuff like that. I understand, again, people are very excited. They want to get their hands on this. November 9th is kind of cutting it close towards the end of the year, but it is coming this year. But I'm very excited. Sometime at some points, like while I'm reading God of War stuff, especially for Ragnarok, it almost doesn't seem real, as in, oh yeah, that is coming out this year.
I kind of like that though. Like we don't know anything about it.
Yeah, which is nice. I just I'm just more of the camp where I kind of get tired of studios. Either whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whoever, they announce these big jaw-dropping titles. And then there's
Christian. Are you just mad because Fable hasn't been talked about since
yes,
it was announced?
Yes, I am very mad. No Fable.
I'm with you, man.
Like,
such bullshit.
Where is it?
Yeah, like I just want an update. Is it still being made? Are you still making it?
Like, I mean, I understand if you have nothing to show, that's fine. But I mean, with God of War Ragnarok, there were the whole. Oh, is it going to be delayed? I'm like, if it's delayed, it's delayed. But speaking of delayed games, Forspoken, our next news topic here, really quick, has been delayed for quote unquote strategic reasons. Are you guys excited for this really quick? I'm sorry. I just wanted to get to the next topic.
Flat out, I've never even really watched gameplay for it, but what I have seen intrigues me. Like, I want to play this game. And it seems like they have faith in it. Like, when they say strategic reasons, that makes me think, okay, you're pushing it away so God of War doesn't overshadow it, which is smart because honestly, Horizon should have either come out before Elden Ring or a couple months after Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like, that game should have been delayed or moved forward because it got overshadowed and that game was phenomenal. It's
Horizon
so
should have been
good.
Released around this season, like right now, I think.
In the summer. Look how good Ghost of Tsushima did. Back in 2019 or 2020 when it came out?
2020 and everything. That was only like a month after the hype behind Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's weird because like with Forspoken, I mean, it looks interesting. I mean, this magical girl, this magical world. I mean, I just hope that it doesn't feel empty because
is this a Square Enix game too?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that
coming to PlayStation and PC?
Okay.
Is that HUD the official HUD, like the what is it the hell? Ew.
I haven't seen anything for this game besides like minimal gameplay, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It's here. I'll show and actually meant to do this for the others really quick. Hold on.
I'm looking at images and it looks interesting. The only thing
the graphics are incredible. I mean, the graphics are absolutely incredible for this game.
They're stunning. It's just the HUD that I have a problem with. That's very
I think
disgusting.
This is the one that was made on Unreal Engine 5 though, right? Like, is this the first?
Is it really?
Yeah, I think this is like one of the first actual games to be made on Unreal Engine 5. Like, that's a AAA title.
Yeah. So I mean, the game is pretty much finished. They said this article comes from like PC Gamer, but yeah, it's I was like, smart. As soon as they announced that release date for God of War, they're like, because this was also supposed to come out in November. I think it's like November 23rd.
Which again, smart fucking choices, man.
Yeah.
Initially May 24th this year as well. It was initially meant to. I just found an image from an original ad.
Yeah. I remember
that got pushed. I mean, this game's been pushed twice. I don't think there's anything wrong with the game. I literally just think it's just a smart choice to push it back.
Yeah, you got to find a good spot for it. I mean, it can blow our stocks off for all we know. And
I think January is a good release date for it. To be honest, I think that's there's not a lot of games that come out in January. It'll pop out, and then that's good because next year Sony has this game now, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7, and Spider-Man. So
yeah,
you have I mean, that's four major.
And whenever that
Wolverine's when they announced it was still in pre-production. I think they announced Wolverine to get ahead before there was rumors and leaks.
Yeah, probably maybe.
Okay.
I mean, also
Capcom that just doesn't give a shit, and it's just like, here you go, have all the leaks. Here you go, just rumor about. We'll finally reveal it like a year and a half after the leaks have come out in the fruition.
Yeah.
Next year's gonna be a big year for games, though. With both
I think so. Next year's gonna be insane. Remake. I mean, also we have the KOTOR remake. Like, again, something that got
is that next year officially?
I don't know, but again, it kind of just goes back to my previous point where developers they're so quick to get this information out there, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's coming from PlayStation, and it's like
that. It's like that Quantic Dream game, the Star Wars game they're making. And then it came out. It's like, yeah, this game's not going to be done until like 2024 at the earliest, maybe the latest 2027. Like, why even announce it?
That is all. I'd much rather so for the news, like, because we're getting more like Star Wars Jedi Fallen or like sequels and stuff. I much rather them announce this stuff like in an article than waste the time of making these trailers for like E3 or for.
It's like when Ubisoft announced they were doing the open world Star Wars game. They're like, we're making a game. That's it. You won't see anything from us for a while about it. Just leave us alone.
Yeah, and I'd rather just have that, like, just knowing in the back of my head, oh yeah, like it is supposed to be coming, but like everyone's,
it's like
you don't have to waste the resources.
They showed it last year. Avatar was the first time we saw it last year, and then they're like, all right, cool, it'll be out within like a year and a half. So like,
I'm totally cool with that, like 100%. So yeah, Forspoken, it's supposed to be coming out in January 24th of next year. So pretty excited. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if I'll pay full price, but I mean, I might pick it up on PC. We shall see. So we're actually going to go on to our next topic. This is kind of like the headliner here.
Yeah.
Some crazy, The Last of Us. We got the new remake coming out. We got the TV show coming out. And I mean, I'll share my thoughts about it here in a bit. But this really brings up an interesting conversation of, The Last of Us 1 remake. There's a dev that responded to the cash grab comments. He stated that, it's actually the most meticulously built and crafted project that he's ever seen or been a part of his entire career. And the highest level of care and attention to detail possible has been, a part of this. This comes from Robert Morrison over on Twitter. I won't drop his Twitter name just because, I don't want people harassing him like they did with people with God of War. But as we've known for a while now, this game has been facing a lot of criticism for it being $70, and also brings up the question, is this necessary? Is this needed? And, it just seems too close to this huge like strategic plan marketing wise, like, like people want to pick up the Last of Us remake, and then we have the TV show coming out, and I feel like Sony's trying to create like this synergy between the two. I'll give my thoughts about it last, but I wanted to ask you guys, do you consider this this remake, this Last of Us remake part 1, a cash grab or not? I'll start with Patrick, then I'll go to Zach, and then I will close out.
Look, in regards to if it's a crash grab, no, I don't think it is. And there are a lot of reasons as to why. For one, games take a long time to fucking make. And I'm just going to say that. And this game is a complete remake from the ground up, if I am not mistaken. And you can see there was a video I actually saw the other day of the trailer we were given of the remake. And then they ended up using those exact cutscenes from the original 2013 release. They put them side by side, and you actually see the amount of detail and the amount of work that has been put into this for every little amount of attention into every little speck or anything on the screen. And the thing is, these games, whether it's a remake, whether it's a remaster and whatnot, they still take an obnoxious amount of time to make. And there are teams working around the clock ridiculous hours. And, like the price tag might be a little high. Like, I don't know about the $70 price tag, if that's high for you guys or anything. For me, the average game on PS5 is like $110 in Australia, and this game is like $125, $130. Like, in regards to that slight price raise, yeah, sure. But overall, like, this is still a game that has been remade from the ground up. and a lot of people have worked tirelessly on this thing, and they've got to earn their keep. You're still playing the same story, and if you're going to have a complaint about the price tag, if you're going to complain about it, either wait for it to go on sale or just go play the original game that's there if you're going to complain that much. That's the way that I look at it, but I personally don't think it's a cash grab because these people work tirelessly to make this new product for us all to enjoy in a new way. Okay. That's just where I stand.
Oh, fair enough. All right, Zach, what about?
I don't think it's worth $70. I'll be honest with that. I just don't. That's me. But this is my favorite game of all time. The first two, or the only two Last of Us games, are my favorite games. So I've been interested to see what this remake is going to be. It looks built from the ground. It looks like a brand new game. It literally looks like a brand new game, updated in every way. I kind of wish they would have done Last of Us Part 2 as well, to be honest, and just made it a complete collection, like literally goes right from Part 1 to Part 2. I think there could have been some unique things in there. I understand why they didn't do that because Part 2 literally just came out, but let's be honest, in probably like 2-3 years, we'll probably get a Last of Us Part 2 just done like this as well. So, because this even looks better than Last of Us Part 2. So, is it a cash grab? No. But in the same time, every game's a cash grab if you really think about it, because every company, it's the same thing with movies. Nothing needs to be made. They want to be made because it makes money. I mean, Sony doesn't give Naughty Dog money to go make something that's not going to make them money. This is going to make money. It should not be $70 though. I think 50, 60. I really just think 60 is the perfect sweet spot. I know it's $10 more. I know that's I can afford it, but not everyone can,
Right.
But then for me, it's like, if you're not wanting, if you want to play this, you'll spend the $70 because you want to play it. If you don't, you'll just wait till it goes down. It'll go down in price in a couple months. Then you'll pick it up for like $40, $50. That's what I'm doing with the Quarry. I'm not spending $70 on the fucking Quarry, but I want to play it. Probably pick it. It was like $40 yesterday on Prime Day. I didn't get it because I didn't want to. I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con trying to save my money for that. But I'm very excited to play this again. I'm very, very excited. And I'm happy that it's pretty much going to be the exact same game. They did not need to change anything for this. And you can't piss the fans off. I mean, you can. I mean, in this day and age, in this day and age, it doesn't matter what you do, no matter what property or franchise you are in, someone is pissed off. I actually have a bet with my friend right now that God of War Ragnarok will probably piss off the fan base in some way, shape, and form. Yeah, and that's just the truth. And I told him, I was like, I think it's going to be as big as Last of Us Part 2's controversies, which was the dumbest controversy in the entire world. But this is just how fan bases are. The Last of Us show is going to have backlash to it. I mean, there's always going to be something with it. But for me, I'm excited to play it. It should not be $70. That's the end of the day. It should not be $70. I understand all the time and effort and everything that had gone into here. It looks like it. It looks like the best made game on the PS5. Like graphically, it looks super strong. But $70, it's for a game we've already played. I already just think the $70 price tag's kind of a fucking joke, in my opinion. Like $60, okay. It's kind of been the sweet spot since Xbox 360 era.
Yeah.
So,
I think it might just be the next gen price tag. I think that's basically all it is, because you mentioned before that the Quarry was $70 for you guys. The Quarry is not worth $70, and I loved that game. Like, it is it definitely doesn't deserve that. But I think, because something I've noticed here, games for us on PS4 or like PC or Xbox One, they were like, what, $90? But if you buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, they're immediately bumped up to $110 for just the standard editions.
Yeah.
So I think that just might be a next gen price. So if you're going to have a problem with The Last of Us Part 1, what about all these other games?
That's a good question, and I'll get to that. I do want to respond to if this is a cash grab or not. I think it is. Not saying this in a bad way, because there are a lot of cash grabs where people do put their heart and soul into things. Obviously, even with like Spider-Man No Way Home, like is it fan service? Absolutely. Do I love it? 100%. Why? Because Spider-Man puts butts in seats. And Marvel knows that, and the theaters know that. But I will say, for The Last of Us remake, I feel like it is a cash grab solely because I feel like they're trying to line this up with the TV show, where obviously they're making this new game. They want new fans to be created from this, because there are a lot of people out there who haven't played The Last of Us, and I totally get that. And then they're going to watch the show and be like, oh man, I want to play this game, and it's like, oh well, there's a new remake that's out that conveniently just came out like the year, like a few months prior to the TV show coming out. I don't think one should have to do with the other, because I do firmly believe that The Last of Us TV show for HBO can stand on its own legs without there even needing to be a remaster, or a remake in the equation. Next year, obviously, it is the 10-year anniversary of The Last of Us. I think it is, just because they know people are going to buy it, because it is The Last of Us. It's one of the most critically acclaimed games ever. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But I'm not trying to say a cash grab as in a negative space, but I do feel like it's like, hey, like we have this remake coming up, and we have the TV show coming up conveniently a few months after, and trying to get new players into that ecosystem of PlayStation 5. I totally get it. But they're also treating The Last of Us remake as a new PlayStation 5 game. They're treating this as a standalone game. I don't think it is worth $70, because you are not getting multiplayer with it. It does look fantastic. I will give them that 100%. But I feel like they're kind of going off faith here, at least for now, as of this recording.
It sells good?
I think it's going to sell good.
I thought you said smell.
I think it's going to smell amazing. Lavender, but
cherry blossoms,
right? But we're getting the $70 experience that essentially comes with less content, because we do know that Naughty Dog is making a standalone multiplayer game, which we don't know if that's going to be free to play or not. Knowing Naughty Dog, it probably won't. I think it's going to be $70 as well.
I'd pay $70 for that.
But I feel like it is a cash grab, just because it's it just so happens to be coming out around the same time or same time frame as the TV show. They're trying to create this synergy.
When do you guys think the show debuts? I think March.
I was thinking March, April,
or I was thinking Mother's Day. Because that was supposed to be the original.
What day did the pandemic actually happen in Last of Us?
March 23rd. It was March sometime, wasn't it?
It might be in March. That would be clever. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to say cash grab is a negative thing.
September.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be
for that shit.
Yeah,
they're going to drop it in 2 months this year.
I wish.
Well, yeah, I mean, the showrunner, they'd said early 2023, so I'm thinking probably will be March as well, or maybe even April. But yeah, like I said before, like cash grab, I feel like has a lot of negative connotation to it. I mean, I think it could be a good cash grab, because like it's a win-win-win for everyone. It's a win for Naughty Dog for putting in the blood, sweat, and tears to create the remake. It's a win-win for new and old players, and for people watching the TV show. So I do feel like it is. But
I've also seen the argument. Sorry to cut you off there,
Christian, no, you're good.
But it's too soon for the remake, and that's why it's also a cash grab. But I'm like, but there are also remakes that have happened way earlier than what we're getting with The Last of Us remake. Like The Last of Us remake, it's almost 10 years since the original game came out, and we're getting a remake. It's been 9 years. I can think of one off the top of my head where it was way sooner, and that's Resident Evil. A remake for the GameCube was released in 2002.
Yeah.
But that original game was released in 1996.
I think the only thing is because the original game still looks really good. Like, it looks really, really good still for what it is. So, I don't know. There's a lot to it all, and kind of all the choices and decisions they want to make. I will say I think they're dumb for not... I don't know if this has been announced yet. From what I read, it's not. That new PlayStation program they have, that PlayStation Essential Extra Premium,
the tier.
This should be free on there. This should be a free fucking title on there to make people want to go get.
They'll probably have it as a trial.
They'll have, but like that's not gonna make me want to play buy it. I mean, they're gonna
speed run the fuck out of it so I get my 5-hour trials worth.
But the trial cuts you off. you can't play the whole game. It cuts you off.
It's a time trial.
Yeah. It might give you like 2 hours, but it still cuts you off.
No.
At a certain
but if
point.
it gives me 2 hours, I will make sure I complete it in that 2 hours.
I'm trying to tell you is that like you can only go to a certain point in the game. It doesn't let you beat the entire game.
Yeah,
my friend has the entire. My friend has that, and he did the trial, and he got to midway in a game, and then it was just like,
thanks for playing.
Yeah.
How can they determine to me how far I get into a game in 2 hours?
Because it wants you to buy the game. That's why.
Yeah.
The trial's a waste of money. I mean, I think the Plus is a waste of money. It's not Game Pass. Game Pass is still the best thing to buy.
I got Essential. I actually got the Deluxe because I wanted my free download.
I tried out the Deluxe. I paid
$19.96. I wanted mine.
Well, it's funny. I've upgraded to the Deluxe, but I am canceling mine after. It was only like a $10 difference or whatever. I was like, yeah, like I'll try it out. There's a lot of old games on there. What's up?
I got it purely for one game. I only got it, and I'm like, I see you in there, Resident Evil Director's Cut. Yes. And I put the $25 on the table, got my subscription, downloaded it. I am renewing it so I can play that over and over again. I don't care.
Yeah. It's always interesting when it comes to anything The Last of Us. I mean, I do think it does need to be remade at some point, and just that point so happens to be now. When I think of it as a cash grab, I don't think necessarily it's too soon, because there are game mechanics clearly that we've seen between the remastered and part 2. And when I go back and play the remastered for PlayStation 4, it's actually, I mean, the story's so great, but like it's really hard to get into because I'm so used to the mechanics of The Last of Us Part 2, much like with Marvel's Spider-Man, then moving to Miles Morales. I mean, I don't know if I can go back and play Peter Parker again, because
that's how I feel. I only want to play as Miles.
I did my platinum on the PS5 version for Miles Morales, and then I'm like, oh, let's go do my platinum for, Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And it felt extremely weird. The web slinging alone felt so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, they've updated a few things along their way. I get it. They want to have the last part.
I want to ask you, do you think there's anything that may tie in a little bit more to The Last of Us Part 2, especially when it comes down to the ending of the story?
I hope so. I think there needs to be, but we'll see.
I'll say you this. I think we see Abby. I think we see Abby.
Yeah. Or do you think we're going to see her in the show?
Not in the first season. Definitely the second season. And the only reason I know is because I remember it leaked out a while ago what Pedro's contract is.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1.5 seasons. That's literally what his contract is. Where
and then Ronda Rousey is going to.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've been saying it. The girl who I want to play Abby is Chloe Grace Moretz. I think she could bulk the fuck up real easy and absolutely kill it as Abby.
It's going to be Gina Carano.
Stop. It's funny. I just sold I have the one Star Wars figure in the box of her. We've never opened it, so I just sold it. Literally,
there you go. Some Gina Carano fan out there is very happy.
Exactly.
I'm gonna open it up and play with her a bit.
Yeah, it's always it's just interesting with like the remakes and the remasters and like what's a reimagining. Like you see the Final Fantasy VII remake. Yeah. I mean, it clearly is a remake, but it is also
it's also a
reimagining.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're changing up the story, the things that they weren't able to do in the first game.
There's certain games that they're doing that for that I really hope they don't do that for, though. Like, I'm a bit biased with it, but if they're calling RE4 remake a reimagining, and I just hope it's not the fucking case. I want it to be a remake because there are so many things vital to that game that if it's a reimagining, will just ruin the story that RE4 unfortunately told. And
from my understanding, what they're changing in there though is to go with the continuity of the two other reimaginings or whatever they call the Resident Evil.
In what way, though? RE3 remake ruined the continuity for RE1 remake released in 2002. Like they just kind of fucked themselves.
But that's
anyway.
Honestly, they should remake fully from the ground up that first Resident Evil. They should absolutely remake that first one from the ground.
Someone's already working on a fan project for that, I think, and someone's doing a Code Veronica fan project.
I thought that got shut down.
No, because it's self-funded and he's getting no profits from it. He's allowed to, and they're doing the same thing with Code Veronica.
Okay.
Which I'm really
I know
excited
nothing about Resident Evil, so I am out of the dark there.
I shall educate you in the humble religious abode of RE.
So really one last question before we get into our final news topic here. Do you think, because there's been a lot of controversy about this as well, when it comes to remakes being eligible for Game of the Year for the Game Awards, do you think The Last of Us Part 1 will win Game of the Year over God of War Ragnarok?
I'm telling you right now, it shouldn't even be nominated. I think it's dumb that remasters and remakes should be. I was actually having this discussion with my friend we're doing that other long formatted type of video thing on the channel. But I was because he asked me that, and I said, you know how big of a fan I am of The Last of Us. I said, in no way, shape, and form should this game even be nominated. It sucks to say that, but it should not be nominated. And I say that because it is the same fucking game as before. Final Fantasy is different because they did change a lot in Final Fantasy. But
PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 4, a lot has changed since then.
But that, not even that, just story wise, it was pretty vastly different. Like especially when you got to the ending. So this is a different this. Unless I play this and I'm like, oh, this is different. Like this is better. Then there can be an argument made to be like, okay, you could remake that or you could nominate, but it's not fair because it's already won before. Like you're literally remaking the same fucking story. That is true. But then there's the whole argument of, well, the Oscars can, nominate remakes and stuff like that. The Departed that is true. Won Best Picture, and it's a fucking remake. So there's an argument to be made. The Departed, Martin Scorsese's film, is a remake of another film.
I haven't seen it.
Very good.
So there's these arguments to be made where it's not fair. Like it should be like, honestly, as of right now, like just looking, it's really much depending on how great God of War. It's between God of War and Elden Ring. I mean, that's really gonna be it. Like maybe Horizon doesn't have a chance. It'll probably be nominated, but it won't. It won't win. But this
Horizon's had a really bad streak between the first game that came out right before Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
and then
but it still did good. Like that's
this one coming out right before Elden Ring. Guerrilla Games has a bad rap for releasing these games. They're good games. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
didn't Lego Star Wars also outsell fucking Horizon?
I think so.
Yeah, but that's a multi-platform game. It's a little bit harder to like.
More people can play it. For kids.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
There's like a curve on
Horizon was a single console.
Yeah. So, but then I don't know because Spider-Man made a ton of money. But that's Spider-Man. So
right. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a great conversation though. It should not be nominated. I'm going to say that, and you guys know how big of a fan I am with this, but it should not be nominated.
If Patrick, what about you? Do you think Dead Space Remake should be nominated next year, or do you think it will?
It depends how different it is, because if it's the same exact game, just graphically better and gameplay and all that stuff's better, but same story, same like corridors, everything like that, same jump scare here and there, no, absolutely not. If it's a shot for shot remake, no. I think this is being marketed as a shot for shot remake.
Yeah, whereas I don't think Dead Space is. I think Dead Space is going to be largely the same game, but there are certain things that are going to be changed. Like in these moments, you expect something to happen, but it doesn't until later on than what you expect.
That's a little bit different, but it's a tough. I just don't think remasters or remakes should be in. Like, unless it's vastly different, like Final Fantasy VII.
I don't think remasters should be, but I think remakes, yes. But that's because they are completely new games. Yes, they're remakes of already created material, but they are made from the ground up with new engines, new resources, new people, and new teams. Yeah. And you get what I'm saying?
The only thing I'll say about this, if this gets nominated, it won't win. And I say this because the people voting, who votes for the Game of the Year? It's like
it's film. I'm not film critics. God, game critics.
Okay.
Yeah, we're nominating.
Yeah.
Man, we have our own problems.
I'll be honest. Since it's that, maybe it gets nominated.
I think it's game critics. I believe so. It's people within the game industry.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's it's not shot for shot like obviously like everyone in Hollywood who are members of the Academy, actors and actresses and whatnot. But it's a little bit different on the game side. I don't think they take things as seriously, clearly, as we have seen on Twitter.
Yeah.
Very exhausting stuff. But yeah, with the gaming industry, it is more laid back. But, they are trying to make their own Oscars type, award show. Nothing wrong with that, or at least Jeff Keighley's trying to.
It's good. I thought last year's was pretty good. It was just too long.
It's way more entertaining than the Oscars.
What's that?
It's way more entertaining than the Oscars.
Yeah. I mean, they have the length down for sure. That's the Jeff Keighley's like, we got to make it as long as the Oscars and the Emmys. We got to go for it.
But no, man, like it'll be. I think it'll get nominated. It won't win though.
I agree. I think it will get nominated. I don't think. I mean, Twitter, the internet in general will blow up if The Last of Us remake wins Game of the Year. I'm not saying that. I mean, the people voting, because people do vote on it. Like, we as gamers are able to vote on that as well. But for the games that get nominated within the within the actual lineup, I believe that is like the game critics, game industry side. Yeah. But us as like spectators and gamers, we get to vote on the nominated. But that will be a dark day if that happens. I do agree with though, Zach. I think it will get nominated, but I mean, again, if it's just a shot for shot, nothing's different. I mean, then again, it's like, why even nominate it? Because, like you said, it's already won before. There's nothing different about the game.
Could you imagine,
other than the aesthetics and a few game mechanic changes?
Could you imagine if they hid that Abby's like in it, and that there's like a whole story piece with her? I'm just saying. I'm not saying they did it, and I doubt it. But
you're fine.
That would
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, I like how the two really tied together.
Her dad's in it though.
Her dad is in it. We just didn't know.
I can't wait to shoot him in the face again.
We're like, I have to kill the doctors. Yes, I have.
I'm so excited to shoot him in the face again. I'm so excited. I always make it brutal upon every playthrough. I make sure I stick an arrow in the knee and then I shoot him in the head with a shotgun. Oh, it's beautiful.
I will say though, Naughty Dog, I do think is the best developers at Sony. Like,
I'm actually leaning more towards Insomniac nowadays.
Really?
Like, I love Naughty Dog, don't get me wrong, but like when it comes to like platinuming like an Insomniac game, they are like, there's so much fun to platinum.
Yeah.
And
I think they have more fun games.
For sure. I mean, Naughty Dog is definitely one of my favorites. I like some of the Uncharteds. What's up?
Yeah. We just need Jack and Daxter again. I think that would be nice.
I don't know what's taking them so long. I mean, the demand is there. They have the resources.
If I don't get my Dino Crisis, you don't get your Jack and Daxter.
Hey, honestly, I think I want Chrono Trigger first before anything else.
True.
If I'm being honest. Same. But it's an interesting thing. So we'll definitely, let's move on to our last and final news topic here, so we can get on out of here and enjoy our wonderful, wonderful Sundays. There's a PlayStation Stars program, loyalty program revealed. This came out, I feel like a few days ago. I think I don't have it pulled up. Hold on one second.
It's the last tab that he decides to choose.
Well, I had something different. I think it was like the PlayStation Plus games. I'm like, we kind of, I don't use PlayStation Plus unless it's for cloud.
Oh my god! Can I just say that this month's PlayStation Plus re-downloading Crash Bandicoot 4 has introduced me to my new eternal hell once again.
I think it's great service, but it's like it's a lot of games that I've already played and or owned, and that's my thing with it. But I already own Crash 4. Like, I bought it digitally like when it first came out. So
I bought it physically and then I sold it. So
I got you. Well, it's great for new people. Yeah, it's great for new people, but
no, it's not. No, it's not.
But have you guys had a chance to look at PlayStation Stars? This
is that the thing where Stray is coming out, where I get to play as a rogue pussy?
No, you get like money for trophies.
I like that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be like 10 cents.
Maybe it's
and are they gonna backtrack for all the fucking 3,000 trophies or whatever I'm at right now?
Mm.
Just saying, like.
I mean, if they backtrack, I mean, I wouldn't
backtrack.
complain.
I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be converting that into real money.
You know they're not going to though. It's Sony.
Yeah, no. It's like every platinum you get is like a free game's worth, so it's like $50-$60, and I'm like, please put that in my wallet.
They won't do it though. Like, I think this is a cool idea, but overall, I don't have like the biggest hope for it, just because. How much money can they actually give for this though?
That is true. I mean?
Like, it's got to be like 10 cents. If
there'll probably be tiers depending on the trophy you unlock, because bronze is the easiest to get, silver, then gold, then platinum. If you get like the platinum, it's going to be a certain amount. Gold, it's going to be a certain amount. So
platinum will probably be like $1. It'll be like 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. I guarantee it'll be something like that.
I do it for free already. I'm not doing it for like pennies.
Yeah, I mean, it does say, once we become a member, we'll earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns and activities. In their monthly check-in campaign simply requires you to play any game to receive a reward, while other campaigns require you to win tournaments. Each specific trophy or even be a first player.
See, that's dumb.
It's
cool.
Yeah. If there's a thing for like trophy difficulty, like say how hard it is to get a certain platinum,
or you'll get like digital collectibles, like themes and stuff like that. But there's no themes on PlayStation.
Bring back themes, man. I fucking hate that the PS5 is so boring.
I'm already bored of it. I'm already bored of it.
I think PS3 still had the best themes. Like, I go on my PS3 and I still have all my old themes on there.
Yeah, PS3 was the best because you can like go on like line and download like people made like their own custom themes.
I had the Lego Star Wars the complete saga theme on my PS3.
Yeah, they had like the cross media bar thing, and like it was awesome.
How awesome was the HUD, by the way, for the menu screen on the PS3 in comparison to what we have now? It was so much nicer.
I actually don't mind the one right now, but personally, my favorite HUD is the Xbox 360, the final one they had. That is the best absolute HUD they have ever done. Now I hate the HUD for the Xbox. I despise
it is very confusing. It's very confusing.
Half of it's like, come watch this, click this, do this.
Too many tiles, too many. I do like how PlayStation is more streamlined.
Exactly, because I've always been a PlayStation kid, and I've only ever owned one Xbox in my life, and that was the 360 for only like 3 months last year when I played Sawtooth Flesh and Blood purely for a live stream series, which I ended up quitting and returning to later on because that game pissed me off too much. But the moment I booted up that Xbox and I looked at the screen for like the HUD, I'm in the menu, I'm like, what the fuck is this, and where do I go? What am I doing? It was so confusing seeing all those little fucking blocks all over the place. I'm looking like, where the hell are my settings?
I miss the tiles is great, but I forgot which. I think it was like there's been so many iterations for the 360. I forgot which one it was, honestly. It was kind of like an in-between where you had kind of like the card tiles going. It was weird. But for this PlayStation Stars loyalty program, I mean, I think it could be something kind of cool with like, digital collectibles. They could be as diverse as, portfolios of projects and franchises. So that could probably be around, I don't know, like new avatars or new themes, and we'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it. It's a cool concept, but I gotta see how it's executed.
Definitely. I mean, if it's free to sign up, what's the harm? But it really just depends on if PlayStation is like not necessarily your console of choice, because people do have multiple consoles, and again, gaming is a very expensive hobby. I just want to throw that out there. Everything we've talked about here today, it's big. But when it comes to if PlayStation is like I prefer to play, obviously you have your first party games, but like, hey, I prefer to play my third party games on PlayStation as well. Like that is my console that I chose out of Xbox, Nintendo. PC gaming is too expensive for you. I totally understand, because on the upfront it can be, but in the long run it saves you so much money.
It's so much cheaper. PC in the long run, like in the now, is so expensive to get a build, but then in the long run you're like looking at the prices of games on a PlayStation and having to buy like the new consoles every couple of years, and you're looking at your PC and like, I just need to upgrade the parts and you might need to upgrade
your RAM every few years or whatever.
Two,
but like
3 years.
Yeah, but like a good graphics card can last you like a good 10, 11 years, honestly longer than that, depending on what your budget is. And you just upgrade your parts when you're ready.
I mean, my mate runs like the newest games, like on the highest graphics possible, and he's had his graphics card for over 2.5 years without any problems. Yeah. Like he doesn't have any problems.
It is fantastic.
You don't even need the highest build ever. Like you can,
you don't need like the super high end PC. Like you can build a decent one for like $600-700. It'd be good.
Okay, for us it's like $1,500, but whatever.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see what this PlayStation, loyalty program is called PlayStation Stars.
If it's actually worth it and like it gives you a good amount of money for like the completing campaigns and missions and trophies, I actually think this could be a really good idea to encourage people to do trophy hunting and to get their money's worth out of their games, rather than just be like, all right, let's play through the story once, never playing it again, or I'll come back to it later. This will actually encourage people to get their money's worth, because since I've become a trophy hunter, I tell you what, I get my money's worth out of every game I play, no matter how tedious or monotonous it might get.
Yeah.
It actually helps you get your money worth out of it. And you actually have a lot more fun because of that, because you're not feeling like you're losing money. Like, I tell you what, like, for example, when I bought RE3 for the first time, the remake, that game was a pile of shit because of that, $100 price tag for a 5-hour game. Fuck off. Then I did my platinum, playthrough, and that game in the end, 100% completing that. I think it took me close to 40 hours. And I'm like, all right, now I see the worth. And I think this system might be able to do that for a lot of people, especially for a lot smaller and shorter games, like indie titles in particular. It will help people get their money's worth.
Are you talking about the Order 1886?
No, shut up.
I was so excited for that game.
I love that. I honestly, I still contend. I think that game, if you would have just given it a sequel,
it would have been
that
much like Days Gone.
Yeah, Days Gone was incredible. I think I still contend Days Gone is the most underrated PlayStation exclusive ever.
I might buy it on PC. I might.
I cannot encourage enough. If you get past, and the game should not be this way. If you can get past the first 10 to 12 hours of that game.
No.
Christian will find any way not to play on PlayStation.
I thought he was going to say 1 to 2. I'm like, all right, I can stomach 1 to 2.
Let me tell you, 10 to 12, like the first 10 to 12 hours is just fun. Like you're like, oh, this is cool. Like you're riding a bike, you kill zombies, do stuff like that. Then after that, you're like, oh, this game's probably going to be over now. No, there's still another fucking 20 hours after that. And that's when it gets like fucking great.
What?
The game's great. It's an open world game. Like that's why 10 to 12 hours is still fun. Like the first opening part, you're like, this is fun. But once you start upgrading and all that stuff, like, and you actually get into the meat of everything, there's a lot. Like one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in that game, and I know I'm going on a tangent, is I was scavenging in some random fucking outskirt fucking bathroom. And it's dark, and I just hear like all the zombie noise, and I walk outside and they are everywhere. Like literally I climbed on top and it's just surrounded for miles. Like my bike is like way too far away. And I'm like, I can either sit here for 20 minutes or I can make a run for it. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to make a run for it. Ran to my bike and totally got mauled and killed. But
that's how it was fun. Dead Rising.
I love Dead Rising too. So
yeah.
But Order 1886, I might do a whole video on that game. That game should have been literally one of the best games on Sony. It had such a great concept.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like a 7 out of 10. It's just too short. It's way too short.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. So let's wrap up here. Just wanted to thank everybody. Sorry, I was doing something. So yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming on for sure. It's been so much fun. We're back in action. This is a monthly podcast where we kind of just talk about the latest in gaming and stuff, because we are busy with our movie and TV life. Watching and binging the latest shows and movies. It'll never get old. It's something that'll always be a part of my life for sure, and I'm sure
you guys always seem to watch better stuff than I do. You guys always tend to watch the good stuff, and I choose to watch garbage.
Yeah.
But really quick, listeners out there, again, thank you if you are watching on YouTube or if you're listening to the audio form on podcast platforms. If you've liked what you've heard here or what you've seen here, please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and on podcast services around the internet, and make sure to share the show with a friend, anyone who loves gaming, as much as we do. It's a fun hobby to have. And just it can be expensive, we talk about all the tangents and the all the latest gossip and stuff, but it's definitely one of the best mediums for storytelling out there. But again, please visit our social channels over on, or actually just follow us on Twitter, at critics_play. Over on Twitter there, you can follow us, all of our other hosts that we have, especially for Leo. I think he has a video coming up, or it actually should be out by the time this is actually out. Yeah. So definitely hit us up to chat and talk about, what your favorite games are coming out this year. I know Zach just released a new video for, what's it, the top 10
most anticipated for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I took like the majority, there's 2 games on there that I probably won't even buy. Like Gotham Knights, I'm not excited for, and then Plague Tale, I've still never played the first one, so you gotta
play it, man. I know it's very Last of Us inspired.
I know
the gameplay will be better, but I'm hoping that the second game definitely addresses that.
For sure, man. So
I just love shooting mofos with a slingshot.
Yeah,
it is
lots of great content.
The FUD with the rock is so satisfying. I laugh really every single time. It's just a little. And I'm like,
it's a very stealth-based game, but yeah, it is. If listeners out there, if you're not a big stealth gamer, you're probably not going to enjoy it as much. I mean, The Last of Us can be, but it gives you the option to also run in guns blazing. You can't really do that with a Plague Tale Innocence. No. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see
that problem.
Yeah, but really quick, additionally, if you guys have a few moments to spare, just hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube and leave us a 5-star rating and review on on podcast services out there, all the audio podcast services. And thank you guys in advance. We really, really appreciate it. So really quick before we wrap up here, I'll give the floor to Patrick and Zach for them to let you know where you can find them on the internet. So we'll start with Patrick and then go to Zach, and then I'll close this out.
You guys can find me over on YouTube at Patrick Burrow. That is PatrickBurrow, where I do movie reactions majority of the time. As it is, by the time this goes up, I'll be returning to my upload schedule at the end of August, because I'm currently taking a personal hiatus from my own channel, where after I return, I will be having my sister's reaction to Hereditary, which is exciting. And I will also be doing daily reactions to the so amazing Resident Evil Netflix series, which I want to Pornhub to shred my resume now, as Albert Wesker said in that show. Fucking screw everything that show did. I'm so pissed off. But yeah, I've also got a video coming out the week after this goes up, where I will be replaying Resident Evil 6 for the first time since 2012, which is already pre-recorded. Draft 1 of the video is already done, and it is an interesting experience, to say the least.
I want everyone to know Patrick wanted me to play it again with him, because we tried playing through that.
Yeah.
I just said no. Because we played an hour or 2, and I was like, nah. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time. I enjoyed Resident Evil 5, but not this game.
There's a moment in the game where Leon, at the very beginning in the prologue, says, what was it that he said? Come on, it's not over yet. And I just said, oh no, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I was just, I was 5 minutes into it. I'm just already fucking over it, because it's basically quick time events, the game. It was so obnoxious.
It's terrible. One of the worst games I've ever played.
I was I'd be playing and it would just be action sequence, but it was hard to shoot or punch anyone as Jake, because I decided to play as Albert Wesker's son, because I thought that would be the funniest way to play it. But no, because of the explosions going all the time, the camera constantly shakes and you can't see a damn fucking thing half the time. And I tell you, it's non-stop action. It does not fucking shut up for the entire 5 hours that you play a certain campaign. It's obnoxious. And I had fun.
So.
That's hilarious. So, Zach, where can everyone find you on the internet?
On YouTube at Zach Pope. You know, as the time this is going up, I would have just came back from San Diego Comic-Con, so a lot of coverage from that. More video game videos, of course, coming up on the channel. I will say, I want to announce a giveaway on here. If we hit 1,000 subs before November, I'm going to give away a copy of God of War. So
2018.
No,
the original.
Ragnarok. No,
The
Ragnarok.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
My last renter?
No, because you're on the channel. Sorry, Patrick.
Damn it.
So I renounce my
1,000
channelness right now. So I know.
Yeah, 1,000 subs by November 1st. So that's what I want. So we can do it. So thank you guys so much again, just for the support and all sorts of things like that. But where can we find you, Christian? Where are you at right now?
Oh boy. Oh, so
on
you
YouTube.
can listen to my audio only podcast. It's called Film Optics. That is Optics with an X, where we talk about blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. We have just been going on a tangent, man. It's just been crazy nonstop stuff. We just finished our Miss Marvel episode 6 review that is up on podcast services around the internet, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. We are not on YouTube. So definitely listen to us over on those podcast services. We also finished our Solar Opposites season 3 review, which is spoiler free as well for everyone out there who wants to listen to it. And we're doing some fun things. I'm doing a Avatar: The Last Airbender series revisited with Leo and Mike Thomas, Leo Rydell over from Geekly Good. So
amazing Shyamalan movie as well.
No, not at all. But we're going to be tackling that. We might be tackling Severance, doing a series review of that as well. And we have Nope coming out as well this coming up week. I'm very excited to see that. I think I actually see it on Tuesday.
That's when I'm seeing it. So
yeah, I'm very excited for that. And just definitely check out our other stuff. We try to cover a lot of new things. Mainly, we do a few series like franchise revisitors for like the Hunger Games and Harry Potter as well. So definitely check us out. Follow us on Film Optics. That is Optics with an X over on Twitter and on Instagram as well. So yeah, definitely just follow along, and we hope you enjoy our episodes. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find our content at. But with all that said, again, thank you guys for coming on so much. We'll be back next month. We'll see what next month's shenanigans comes about. I think in August. I don't know what comes out in August. I'm not sure.
Nothing. Really.
Probably no. Nothing. I think it's not.
But there will probably still be some news that comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
In October, I know, but other than that, I don't know anything aside from Last of Us.
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised. October's kind of a dry spell, but I guess it is what it is.
October's not a dry spell. We got all that Resident.
I'm sorry, August,
baby.
August.
We got that Resident Evil DLC coming out, where I get to play as Big Booby Licious Vampire Lady.
For sure. But with all that said, thank you guys all for listening and or watching, and we'll see you guys in a month.
See you then, guys.
See you guys.